What's up, my Hans family? A more realistic Sewn Up Sally is here for Hansoween Day 6. If you're new here, or you have just ignored my intros for the last few days, Hansoween is 31 tutorials in the month of October, which means a new tutorial every day. All product details will be listed down below as usual. Let's get started. Barefaced, lubed up, and ready to go. Okay, maybe not lubed up. I cover my brows the good old glue stick method. Use a washable glue stick and press your brow hairs down in the direction that they grow. This will lay them as flat as possible, and when mostly dry, press some powder into the glue. And when I say press, I mean press that shit. Pressing it down will help to flatten them even further. Repeat steps again to get all those unruly hairs down. With a pencil, you just want to draw where those sewn pieces will be on your face and chest. Sally's stitch lines don't have quite the gap I'm drawing out, but I wanted to have the seam lines be the focus of the look. Grab some latex and apply a thin layer up against where we just drew those first lines. If you're allergic to latex, you can opt out for some silicone or gelatin. We're trying to emulate the look of the pieces of skin lifting up at the edges, so I am just layering a bit of cotton right on top. Keep building up the edges and try to have a nice transition blending down into our natural skin. After you put the cotton down, you can just lay some more latex right on top and wait for it to dry before you add more. Just like my Crypt Keeper, I'm kind of working in little stations around my face, making sure to lay down a first layer of cotton everywhere, let that dry as I'm moving on to another part of the body, and then go back to build up further. You want your first layer to be the largest, meaning that you want to slowly build up to make almost like a mountain. That will help to make it look more realistic because it's slowly transitioning up into this tall little piece of cotton. After you're happy with it, add a little bit more latex so that it's a nice smooth top. We want that smooth skin. Set all of that with powder so that it's not sticky. To get her perfect pale blue, I am mixing a bit of turquoise cream paint into white. These are for Makeup Forever and they will not move anywhere. They are a bitch and a half to get off, which is good. Cream or grease-based paints will hold well onto the latex, but know that latex does hold paint differently than your natural skin. You may have to mess with it a little bit and layer the paints to get a full coverage base. We're going to kill two birds with one stone here and set some of paint while highlighting at the same time. Sugarpill has these matte shadows which are pigmented as all fucking hell, so to get this opaque white, I'm using Taco on the high points of the face and the edges of the skin. Now going in with Kimchi and a big fluffy brush to not only contour the face, but to give the face a little more dimension around these cuts. I'm really patting the color in instead of doing too much swiping because then it can disturb the cream paint underneath. If you're contouring on this look like I'm doing with my nose, and you put down some shadow and you're like, holy shit, that's way too dark, just put some white shadow on top of that and it'll make it look a little more under the skin and lighter. Sometimes, man, that cream paint, it just sucks in that color. With After Party and Kimchi mixed, they're both blue shadows from Sugarpill, I want to start deepening around where our little sewn pieces are. The skin that we created is really textured, it's bumpy, so accentuate that by using the blue shadow underneath these bumps so that they pop out. If skin was really like this, it wouldn't be one flat base color. Creasy eyelids are a piece of poop. So set your eyelids with a ton of white powder. Fill in your gaps with a darker cream paint. I just mixed a little bit of black and blue. Using that same color mixture, add dots to where the stitches are going to be glued into. Making the holes this color will make them look like they go deep into our skin and are actual holes. I did still have some of that color on my brush, so while I was adding the holes, I did also kind of deepen some of the bumps around the edges of the skin too. When you do draw the dot, drag a little bit of the cream paint upwards just because this will look like it is pulling at the fabric when it is all sewn up. Put just a little bit of your adhesive, whichever you choose to use. I am using Pros-Aide because I wanted these to stay in place as long as possible. And I did pick up this cording at Michael's. It's just a metallic cream cording. It also came with black and silver. Cut it into about the size you need and then just glue it on. I did some in crisscrossing motions, some that were just straight across. and do as many or as few as you want. I did find that while I was doing this, the cord needed a little extra hold because it was very thick, so I put a little bit of latex around each edge just so that it would really hold in place. The one tip I would tell you guys as well after wearing this is to make the gap around your neck a little bigger and kind of looser with the string, because as you move your neck you can kind of pull the strings out a little bit. I never realized this bitch doesn't have eyebrows. I was like getting ready to draw eyebrows on and nope. So for the eyeshadow I just add a little bit of that kimchi shadow in the crease, blend it outwards, use that white shadow to lighten it if you need. And then Jeffree Star's Red Rum, the perfect red lipstick for her pouty lips. And I always overline those suckers, you know how I do. Now that the latex is all dry, to continue that illusion that the strings are going into holes, I just took some of that cream paint and darkened around on top of the latex. You could either do this or not. I chose to grunge up our Sally a little bit with some alcohol paints and a stippling sponge, mainly just around the edges. I just love how stippling sponges make things look. You don't have to use alcohol paints for this, you could use a cream. And I went in with a little bit of white on top of the blue. For a nice wing of liner, I'm using NYX's felt tip liner. I like to first sketch out the actual shape that I am going for and then fill it in later. Now for the other eye, and oh man, this is the worst.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
To clean that up, I just wiped it off with a makeup wipe and put white eyeshadow right on top of that. Add mascara to the top and bottom lashes and then pop on your favorite pair of lashes. If you're wearing this out for Halloween, which I assume you are, and you're wearing a costume, paint your body with water activated paints because they will dry completely matte to the touch, so you won't have to worry about them smearing everywhere. Add your wig, contacts, and dress. Now you are a sultry and badass realistic Sally. You ain't got no painted stitches, you're fucking stitched up for realsies. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you liked it. Let me know what you think down below and use the hashtag Hanzalina if you recreate this. I love you guys so much and I'll see you tomorrow. I feel like that dinosaur in Jurassic Park that dude gets in his car and it's like,